Shalom. I am Rabbi Nathan Davidovich, speaking to you on behalf of the webyeshiva.org, speaking to you from Efrat, Israel. This week's Torah reading is Parsha Shoftim. And I'm going to talk about one aspect of this particular Torah reading, and that is recognizing the good when the glass seems half full. And we know that an optimist will look at a glass of water that is only up to the halfway mark and recognize the good within it. Whereas the pessimist looks at the same glass and says it's nearly empty. It's a question of perspective. Is it nearly full or nearly empty? We're taught in this week's Torah reading that if we walk wholeheartedly with God, we will recognize that all that happens to us is for our benefit. Even if the glass looks only half full, it is a sign of the good that God is bestowing upon us. And if we accept all that happens to us and understand that it's for our benefit, we will be on the same wavelength with God. The Torah tells us in this portion, Tamim tiya im Hashem Elokecha. You shall walk wholeheartedly. You shall be wholeheartedly complete with God. The great commentator Rashi says, what does that mean? Hitalech imo b'tmimot. Utzatzapelo. V'lo tachkor achar atidot. He says, you should walk with wholeheartedness with God, and you should look to God as the cause of everything that happens, and not try to foretell the future. Everything that happens to you, kabel bitmimos, with you shall accept with wholeheartedly. Then you'll be on the same level of the same wavelength of God. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Chaim Atar, says that in the previous portions of this Torah, the Torah was telling us about people who engage in various pagan rites, mixing magic, supposedly magic, with their religious tenets. And the Torah is telling us that our relationship with God has to be predicated on a mutual exclusivity. And the difference between Judaism and other religions who look to superstitions is that other religions may base their beliefs on a variety of terrifying phenomena in nature. So they result to fortune telling, looking at see what the stars are going to be, what the astrology says, what do the stars foretell. But we who know that God always has our best interests at heart do not need to be terrified, and we can translate this sentence, as the Or HaChaim says, we shall be at ease with your Lord your God, provided that you are in the same length, same wavelength as the Lord your God. Any evil in store for you, which you might find by looking at a horoscope, is not going to happen anyway. Rabbi Elimelech Biederman brings an interesting analogy. We've all heard about Nachum Ish Gamzu. Nachum Ish Gamzu had many difficulties in his life, but everything that happened to him, he would say, Gamzu Latova. This is for the good. And Rabbi Biederman brings in the name of somebody else that when a person looks at a cup, there is no such thing as a half a cup, half full cup. And he says the word cup in Hebrew is kos, kof vav samach, three Hebrew letters. And when you take the numerical value of those three letters, it comes out to 86. So kos, a cup, is numerically 86 in Hebrew. And what is chatzi kos? What is a half of kos? So half of 86 is 43. And he says we look at some of these psalms of thanksgiving. The main psalm of thanksgiving is Psalm 100. And Psalm 100, which is Mizmor Lasoda, Hariyul Hashem Kol Haaretz, he says that psalm of 100 has exactly 43 words in that psalm. I'm sorry, it's not 100, it's 100 and 107. 107, that has exactly 43 sentences. And I'm sorry, I mixed up the two. There's two psalms. There's one psalm that is the Psalm of Thanksgiving, which was 100. That's 43 sentences. There's another psalm that has 43 sentences, and that's 107. And it teaches us, and these are the second psalm is the psalm that people, 4 different categories of people have to say when they pass over an ocean successfully, or a desert successfully, or they get through some trauma. And this psalm also contains 43. So both those together teaches you that when your kos, when your cup looks only half full with only 43, it is really, God is really showing you that the half kos is a symbol that everything that God does is for your good, and that called the Avid Rahmana Latab Avid, that everything that God does is for your good. And we get to Noach Ich Gamzu that I mentioned a moment ago, where he says Gamzu Latova. The word Gam is 43. The numerical value is 43. And he recognized that was also good. So what the Torah is telling us, if we want to accept all the good that God gives us, we have to recognize that even though it looks like it might not be full, but we have a glass that appears half full, we have to recognize the goodness within that. And if we recognize the goodness in what we think is only half, we will then be able to see the total goodness that God gives to us all the time. Because as the Torah tells us, everything that God does is for our very good. And the key that this Torah is teaching us is Tomim Tia Im Hashem. Walk wholeheartedly with God, accept what He does, and understand it is for our good. Thank you for listening on behalf of the webyeshiva.org. I wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom, and since we've just started the month of Elul, I wish everybody a Chodesh Tov, a wonderful month where we can find the closeness of God and bring us to mend our ways and be able to recognize God's good all around us. Shabbat Shalom.